Good morning. Today for my retail marketing class, I am going to showcase my online exotic pet breeding business, D C Reptiles. Taking a quick look at the agenda, I will be starting off by giving a brief introduction of what D C Reptiles is, what we stand for, our motto, slogan, etc. Then we'll take a look at what products we plan to offer. This will lead us into the operation side of things, including our budget, pricing policy, supply chain, and stuff like that. After that, there will be a mock-up of an advertisement and how we plan to execute advertisements. Following that, we'll look at possible endorsers and close with an overview of the company. D C Reptiles is an exotic pet supply business located in the United States. Our slogan, "Find a pet that fits your style," is at the very heart of what we stand for. Pets are much more than cats and dogs. Snakes, lizards, amphibians, and invertebrates make great pets too. The intended market for D C Reptiles is exotic pet enthusiasts and hobbyists, people that share a like-minded love for owning your non-typical pets like cats and dogs. We wanted to specialize particularly with reptiles, amphibians, and invertebrates after our own hearts. We want to add to the quality of these pets and truly set their owners up for success, for their pets to thrive when they take them home. We plan to operate our store through an online store website. The reason we chose this option over selling on a social media site is primarily due to stringent rules that don't allow for pets to be sold on social media sites. Therefore, we will host our own online store independently. However, as we are making a name for ourselves in the exotic pet trade, I think we will find ourselves primarily selling on a website called Morph Market. This is a website that acts as a hub between all reptile, amphibian, and invertebrate pet enthusiasts across the United States and Canada. From there, we can cross-advertise the pets we are selling on both Morph Market and our own online store website. When thinking about our mission statement and what D C Reptiles stands for, we wanted to ensure that our customers know that we started just the same as every other pet owner, a hobbyist in their own right. We want to produce only quality pets, never quantity, to ensure the longevity and health of these animals. We also wanted to make it clear that we do not wish to decimate the native environment and populations of where these animals first originated from. So as our mission statement reads, from a hobbyist to a fully developed operation, D C Reptiles strives to produce quality exotic pets for everyone. We select only the best to produce the better. All animals are captive bred, never taken from their wild environment. Turning our attention to the products, for the first few years at least, we want to put our focus on breeding and selling live animals. However, I think within the next 5 years, we would want to expand into selling the supplies to house these animals in. That being enclosures, heaters, lights, and any other accessories needed for the animals to thrive. Of course, right now, we will focus on the living things, that being the animals themselves. Now I'll go into further detail in the next slides, but the 4 groups we have are reptiles, amphibians, invertebrates, and feeder colonies to feed these animals. Listed here are some of the most common pets in the hobby and ones we want to first put our focus on the most. First, we have the ball python, also known as the royal python, which is by far the most common snake owned in the hobby. Another cool favorite in the hobby is the sand boa, much smaller than the ball python and great for beginners due to their mellow attitude and less housing requirements than most other reptiles. Next, we have the king snakes and the milk snakes. I lump these two together because they are closely related and can even crossbreed. These kinds of snakes are probably my favorite kind. Lizards and skinks are a lesser hobby of ours, but we still find them really cool. The one pictured is a fire skink, which I think would make a good start for breeding lizards. With amphibians, we want to focus mostly on frogs and axolotls. With frogs, we want to put our main focus on tree frogs, such as the Cope's gray tree frog, as pictured, which is actually a native to Alabama, and the dark frog varieties, the one pictured is only one of many. Invertebrates are cool for hobbyists who want something to display in their home rather than interact with. Isopods and springtails are especially common for those making bioactive enclosures for their larger reptiles and amphibians. An added bonus, isopods come in all sorts of colors, so they make an enclosure even more exciting. Spiders aren't really my thing personally, but my partner loves them, so she has decided that she'll do her thing with the spiders, and I can do my thing with the praying mantis, in which she doesn't like either. Now for the feeders. There needs to be a way to feed all these animals, and the primary diet is rats, mice, and a variety of insects, primarily worms, fly or fly larvae, roaches, and crickets. Not only can we offer these in our store, but we can also use them to feed our own animals, taking down the cost of feeding the animals that we're raising. Additional services that we would love to offer include exotic animal education, venomous reptile handling courses, and a rescue and adoption center. We would love to visit schools or host field trips at our facility to teach children and adults alike about snakes, lizards, and all the cool and exciting animals they could possibly encounter in the wild where they live. Additionally, we would also like to offer classes that teach people how to properly handle and transport venomous reptiles away from their home, rather than simply killing the animal out of fear. And finally, it would be amazing if we could take in exotic animals and give them a place to go when their owners can no longer care for them and find them another suitable home where they can be loved and cared for. Now that we have set the foundation of what D C Reptiles is as a business and what products we're going to sell, I'd like to turn our focus on how we plan to operate. That includes our budget, pricing policy, how we plan to obtain our products, how we'll advertise, and some possible endorsers for our company. The pricing policy that D C Reptiles will follow is competitive pricing. There are many other breeders in the trade, especially ball pythons, king snakes, and green tree frogs. Prices are also heavily gauged on how popular the species or particular morph of the species is at the time. Therefore, we'll want to adapt and change our prices based on what our competitors change their prices to. It also wouldn't be a bad idea to start our prices low as we start out since we aren't fully established as a breeder yet. I based our operating budget off of what we are likely to spend in a given year, giving ourselves wiggle room, of course. For utilities such as electricity, water, and things like that, I expect we would spend no more than $4,800 in a given year. We will be running our business out of our home as we first start out, so these costs are no different than what we already spend on utilities and housing. Housing for animals, including bedding, decor, tubs or rack system, and etc., we are likely to spend around $2,000 a year on these things. Animal care, including feed and vet care, I budgeted for $3,500. Remember that we are producing feeder animals for the reptile, amphibians, and invertebrates, so what we are paying for in feed is actually going to the feeder colonies. Vet care is more or less for checkups and any emergency visits for an animal getting sick. And finally, I budgeted $2,000 for any additional costs we might incur during daily operations or with obtaining new animals to add to our breeding stock. So, in total, we have a budget of $12,300 for a whole year. The supply chain is rather simple. We would first obtain breeding pairs from other breeders to add to our own breeding lines. We would then breed those animals and produce new animals from those breeding pairs. We would then sell hatchlings to consumers. I think if we got in a good standing with the community, there might be possible deals where we trade breeding animals to introduce new genes to one another's breeding projects. Advertising is important to be successful. For D C Reptiles, we plan to advertise mostly through our social media, primarily showcasing animals on Facebook and Instagram. On our social media, we would advertise with links to our website and Morph Market page. We would also advertise ourselves on YouTube. On our YouTube channel, we would provide educational videos and also be able to showcase upcoming animals we are producing through reptile unboxing videos and hatching videos, both of which are popular advertising tactics in the exotic pet trade. Here you can see a quick and simple mock-up of an advertisement. We want to keep it simple, showcasing the animals we have for sale. This would be something that we would post to our social media for customers to see what we are currently having to offer. We would also stamp our logo in the center so that there can be no confusion that we are the ones that have produced and are selling those animals. Finally, I want to end on some potential endorsers of D C Reptiles. Morph Market would, of course, be a large endorser in the way that they are a hub for reptile breeders to connect with one another and other hobbyists in the community. Repticon would also be a great endorser. They're a large reptile show in the United States and act in the same way as Morph Market, but you're able to connect in person. This is also a great way for us to introduce ourselves into the community. Lastly, another great endorser would be the U.S. ARC, the United States Association of Reptile Keepers. This is the largest exotic pet organization in the United States, and they are dedicated to preserving reptile species and protecting natural habitats of these animals. To sum up, at D C Reptiles, we want to offer quality exotic pets to the community, offering competitive prices alongside other top breeders. Not only do we want to provide quality animals, but we also want to educate the public and give them resources to better understand these animals native to their area. Most importantly, we want to provide every animal with a safe home where they can thrive and be loved. That is the quick overview of my small startup online exotic pet store, D C Reptiles. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.